I'm Randy Mastro, the chair of Citizens Union. We're here tonight to honor some Gotham greats in the grand tradition, 125-year-old tradition of this organization, New York's preeminent, nonpartisan good government group. And that's our primary mission tonight. And I know they say that all politics is local, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about a bigger picture tonight. Because what brings us together to care about government and democracy, which is what Citizens Union stands for, is on the national and international stage very much at risk in our troubled world. Our hearts and prayers go out to all those Israelis who were brutally murdered by terrorists, whose families have been torn apart by that tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all those innocent civilians in the region who now find themselves displaced and in a troubled war zone. Our hearts and prayers go out to the brave Ukrainian people who continue to courageously defend themselves against Russian invasion and a brutal, murderous dictator. But we have our own demagogue in this country, and he still controls one of our two political parties. And Citizens Union stood tall in 2020, calling out that demagoguery, and the work of Citizens Union today is as important as it has ever been as we face enormous challenges here in New York, and as we face the prospect of that demagogue potentially returning to office. Now, we see 4 prosecutions going on around the country, including in Georgia, where multiple of his lawyers have already pled guilty. And I pray that all of his lawyers will acknowledge what they have done and express regret for it, because what happened in 2020, like what happened in Israel and what happened in Ukraine, we should never forget. Never again. Now let me come to tonight, because we have some extraordinary honorees, and I want to get right to the program. But first, a word about Citizens Union. I want to thank all of you for supporting this great organization. I want to thank our board and our staff, and someone I am about to introduce. But before I do that, I want to say, in all of my career, there has been no greater mission than to help this revered organization achieve its mission. It is about good government at its core. And we're going to honor tonight former deputy mayors, others who've been in public service, others who have been in not-for-profit or private sector, who have contributed so much to the spirit, the vibrancy, the rejuvenation, the democracy that we hold so dear here. I've had so many partners in all of this, and among our board members, we have to call out Judy for all she does to raise the funds and do our capital development. Thank you. Thank you. So many others I'd like to call out individually, but can't name them all. Just know how valued each and every one of you is and how much you have contributed to this organization. We're also honored here tonight to have Kathy Doyle with us. We lost a giant in New York, a champion of democracy who did so much for our city and state, Dick Ravitch, and we remember his memory tonight. And finally, I want to ask to come up to the stage my partner, my friend, who has done so much for this organization when we faced one of our severest crises, and I'm not just talking about COVID. And she has just been a beacon of hope for our democracy. I couldn't love her more. I give you our Executive Director, Betsy Gottbaum.
Well, good evening, everyone. And Randy, thank you so much for that nice introduction, and I agree with everything you say. Anyway, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for coming tonight. Our Gotham Greats Awards are the most important annual fundraiser that we have, and we try to keep away from you the rest of the year. Well, we don't always, but we try. We have an impressive group of honorees, which Randy talked about. And they will be introduced in a few minutes, and we give them their usual present, which is not a plaque, but a cartoon, which we think is relevant to what they are and what they've been to the city. So they will be up in a minute. We just want to talk, I want to talk a minute about what we're doing. We are doing a lot to try to increase voter participation. And you all know what that is. Any ideas you have, terrific. We had a civic conversation with Bradley Tusk, who is trying to get voters going on cell phones. Now, I know that sounds wacky, but it is an interesting concept, and it would get a lot more people voting, good or bad. And I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime, but anyway. We also will have another civic conversation in December featuring Alvin Bragg, our district attorney from Manhattan, and I hope all of you will come. I think it's December 3rd. One of the other things we're doing is we are recommending for voting local candidates. This year, it's just a few city council candidates that are more or less contested votes. We want you all to vote, just vote. All the city council is up for re-election, and as Gail Brewer, our wonderful city councilwoman who is here, knows, the city council is the basis of all government, and it is very important that people get out and vote. I'm not going to ask you tonight who is your city council person. No comment, right? Okay. Anyway, we are also working on redistricting. We never thought we'd have to do redistricting again, but we do, and we're trying very hard to move that in the right direction. And we are doing a lot of different policy. One of my particular hatreds in New York is the scaffolding. And we have a big report coming out. Thank you. Thank you. We have a big report coming out probably at the end of November on scaffolding with all the suggestions about what can be done and what should be done and what can't be done and blah, blah, blah. I will send it to any of you that want it. And we will always continue policy research on any of the important issues that come up in New York City and New York State. Finally, I would like to talk before I bring up our first honoree. Thank the Board of Citizens Union and Citizens Union Foundation. And I would like to thank the staff who are somewhere around here. We're small, but they work really hard, and they are terrific. Thank you. And Judy, we couldn't have done anything. Judy, where are you, Judy Blitzer? Judy has done more as the director of the Development Committee, which is made up of Suzanne Davis and Tony Smith. That's a small committee, and I'd like some of the other board members to come on that Development Committee, because we need as much help as we can. But Judy, without you, it would never happen. So I want to thank Judy. Anyway, let's get to the honorees. The first honoree that I get to welcome is someone who has become my friend, Elizabeth Velez.
Introducing Elizabeth Velez, a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
Hi, my name is Reverend Jacques DeGraff, and I'm a friend of Elizabeth Velez. From the very beginning, she had a kind of charisma that exuded attractiveness.
My name is Carlos Chasura. I am the president and CEO of the New York Building Congress. I met Elizabeth probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I immediately knew that she would be somebody that I would become fast and close friends with. She's got energy and pizzazz and intelligence and knows how to deal with people.
I've known her in many dimensions. We co-chair the New York Friends of Puerto Rico. We serve on a variety of other boards together. And in each place, she's exhibited her values, her faith, and her family commitments.
Elizabeth was our COVID chair. So she became chair in January of 2020. She was a critical piece of the puzzle. She was so well liked, so well respected, and it just brought a human touch.
In my faith tradition, there's a song that goes, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." Elizabeth Velez is a shining light for New York City. Whether she's at the Catholic Archdiocese and feeding folk on Thanksgiving, whether she is creating job opportunities within her own company and within the industry, wherever she is, she's a person who's made a difference.
Elizabeth is really the embodiment of leadership. She's been part of some of the grandest infrastructure projects. She has helped steer jobs to women and minorities in construction. She has helped mentor young people, particularly young women, joining this industry. So she's clearly touched the lives of thousands of people.
Elizabeth Velez is a quintessential New Yorker, and we're a better city because she's here. Congratulations, Elizabeth, mi hermana, on being a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
I love the New Yorker. Right, Cesar? We love the New Yorker. This is wonderful. Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Oh, please. Thank you. We are good. Better than the plaque.
Better than a plaque.
May I say a few words?
You may indeed.
Well, good evening, everybody. And that was so sweet to see some of my dearest friends say something about me. So thank you, Rev, who made it here today, for your words and your friendship and your mentorship over the years. And I'd like to thank, of course, Citizens Union and especially Betsy Gottbaum, who has become a really good friend. I could see us becoming fast partners in crime, Betsy. She's a true New York City icon, and she's served the city with such distinction, as many of you in this room have. And especially this organization, serve this organization, which enables its mission to make New York City live up to its promise to be a better city. I'm also honored to stand in the company of my co-honorees like Richard Bury, Deborah Archer, Eric Dinallo, and Ed Schuyler. You all have been such greats in your field, and you all have been great to the city, who owes you so much. When I found out that I was receiving this award, Gotham Greats, I began to think, what does it mean to be a Gotham Great? What service do we provide this amazing city? What role do we play in building it up? Because, of course, especially for me, there are houses for me and offices to be built, infrastructure to be built. We need to fortify it. But what are we doing to really empower, to really build up our people, especially in communities that represent New York City in 2023? Citizens Union has been that voice asking these questions. They have been a check on the public sector. especially under Betsy's leadership. You have pushed the city and the state leaders to empower all of our boroughs, and that's amazing. And all of us in this room also have a parallel duty. All of us are its stewards, our city's stewards. We're all servants of New York City in many ways. All of us here want to see our city grow and be a better place for our children and their children as well. So I want to leave here tonight resolved to think about how we can all continue to serve the city. The amazing folks at Citizens Union, continue your work and be a check on the system. My friends here tonight in government, think when we do make our budgets or when we make our policies, think about the things that will make this a transparent, fairer city. My colleagues in the private sector that are here tonight, let's give those budget lines that I just talked about, or those policies, let's give them some additional life. Let's put our money where our mouth is by doing inclusive growth, by spurring on that inclusive growth, which will take this city even higher, to even higher levels. Let's leave here tonight committed to diversity, to the principles of Citizens Union, and to the mission our Betsy Gottbaum has sent us all on. So thank you again for this tremendous honor. And I am really appreciating sharing the stage with the other lions and leaders of New York City. Thank you.
All right, to our second award. I'm John Avalon, anchor and analyst at CNN, and board member of CU for almost 2 decades. It's my honor to introduce the award for one of New York's great power couples, Deborah Archer and Richard Burry. Now, if you look at their resumes stacked up, it is an extraordinary record of service, public service, and accomplishment. From the president of the American Civil Liberties Union, professor at NYU Law, the head of the Civilian Complaint Review Board at one point, former New York City deputy mayor, head of Charter School Network, and currently CEO of Robinhood, which statistically means you're next in line to be governor. Deborah Archer and Richard, it is an honor to have you be recognized as Gotham Greats. Let's watch the video.
Introducing Deborah Archer and Richard Burry, 2 Citizens Union Gotham Greats.
My name is Sheena Wright, and I am the first deputy mayor of the city of New York. I met Rich and Deborah when they were in law school, and so I was watching their love just ignite.
I'm Nick Turner. I'm the president of the Vera Institute of Justice, but far more importantly, I'm a 30 years friend of Rich Burry and Deborah Archer. I met both of them when we were all students at Yale Law School.
I'm Matt Klein. I've known Rich and Deb for over 30 years. Rich has been, consistently focused on helping young people, particularly in New York City. As deputy mayor, he oversaw the creation and expansion of universal pre-kindergarten, and those are just like a couple highlights.
Deborah's work at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and now as the first Black leader of the ACLU. I think we can safely say that millions of people in the city of New York are better off because of Rich and Deborah.
They are just tailor-made for each other because the humility and the doing it because it's right, that's the thing that stands out for me with both Rich and Deborah.
I feel like I've experienced adulthood with Rich and Deb. They have 2 wonderful boys, incredible, kind, generous.
Mine are a little bit older than them, so talking with Deborah in particular, who would fret about, at what age should she send Ellis and Ethan to ride the subway by themselves, and then the outrage that I had sent Wiley and Malcolm, my 2 sons, at a particularly early age, and she'd be like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to do that. So we've been able to share a lot personally as well.
And their impact has, without exaggeration, affected millions of people in New York City and beyond.
It's incredible. I mean, just the duo of them, they've changed the world. Rich and Deborah, congratulations on being Citizens Union Gotham Greats. Y'all are the bomb.
Great. Come on.
All right, I have bad news, which is that Deborah designated me to say thank you, because she's a much better speaker than I am. That was surprisingly, that was lovely.
Why was it surprising?
Well, because people don't normally say nice things about me, so it is a real privilege to be here tonight, not just as a recipient of this honor, but really to do it next to this beautiful young lady to my left. And it's really cool to look out in this room. There's so many people here who I've former colleagues and friends and co-conspirators. It's really a wonderful place to be. And we just want to first of all, thank Citizens Union. No work is more important than protecting our democracy, than advancing equal access to political participation, to making sure that we have a government that actually works for the people who live here. And that is the work that Citizens Union does. And so more than anything, just honored to have a chance to be part of a night that supports their work. As you've heard, I've really focused my career on advancing economic opportunity, mostly here in New York, mostly with kids. Deborah's scope has been a little bit grander, focusing on work nationally, focusing on equal opportunity, civil rights, racial justice. At the end of the day, I think Deborah and I and Betsy at the team at Citizens Union are all sort of working on different things, but we're all working toward the same goal, right? With a country that actually lives up to its grandest ideals, a country where everyone truly has full access and full participation to every part of the American dream, a world where everyone can live with safety and dignity. And if we did not recognize how important that was, certainly the last few weeks have been a reminder of the importance of treating human beings like human beings. And so for all those reasons, we appreciate this so much, because we admire Citizens Union so much. And it's great to have this kind of celebration in a room of people who are all trying to push the same direction. I also want to congratulate the other honorees, Eric, Ed Schuyler. We got a good deputy mayor contingent in this room tonight, across a couple of administrations, I think maybe 3 or 4. Elizabeth, you all in different ways in your lanes have done so much to make this city great, truly great. And so it's, again, great to receive an award, great to receive an award with your wife, great to receive an award with this list, because some of your pixie dust, I think, comes off and rubs off on us. I also have to thank the great Betsy Gottbaum, who just inspires us, inspired me before I knew you. So lucky, we're also lucky as New Yorkers that you are at the helm of this organization after a storied career helping to make New York the city that it should be. So just on a personal note, I met Deborah a few days into law school, and the first thing that struck me about Deborah was that smile. Don't be jealous, it's sorry. It's her smile that caught my attention, but what really did it for me was her passion for making the world a better place. To be this beautiful and this righteous is quite the combination. It is a rare thing. And not for a minute do I ever forget how blessed I am that we've been able to build a life together with our 2 boys trying to make the world a little bit better for all of us, but especially for them. So thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. Thank you all. Thank everybody in this room for all that you do. Everybody in this room have done so much for this place. This city is so wonderful. I don't know why people live other places. No confusion why people want to come here now. I forget who said it, the joke that, some author who said that at some point people who live other places just aren't serious. But all together, let's keep pushing boundaries, let's keep doing the work. We won't see the success in our lifetime, but I know that one day we will see it. God bless you all, thank you.
Wow, that guy knows how to give a speech. You made the former Deputy Mayor's Club proud. And I am proud to introduce our next honoree in an incredible lineup of honorees. But Eric Dinallo is someone who I have admired for many years. He embodies the very best in what we all strive for. He's had a commitment to public service, whether serving the public or in the private sector. He's had an illustrious career. He's been an ADA. He's been in the AG's office. He was the superintendent of insurance during some of the biggest crises we ever faced, including the restructuring of AIG. And now he is a partner at one of America's greatest law firms. I give you the video about our next honoree, Eric Dinallo.
Introducing Eric R. Dinallo, a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
I'm Mary Jo White. I'm one of Eric Dinallo's partners at Debenhams and Plimpton, where he is the head of our insurance regulatory group. I do remember very vividly the first time I met Eric. It was in 2005. He pops off the page every time you have anything to do with him. His smarts stood out. His high-mindedness stood out. His just depth of knowledge really impresses immediately.
I'm Adrienne Harris, the superintendent of the New York State Department of Financial Services. I first met Eric a long time ago, I won't tell you how long, when I was an intern on a political campaign. My first impression, frankly, was, this guy is nice enough, but how on earth did he land Priscilla? That was my first impression.
If I had to pick one word to describe Eric as a friend and as a colleague, it would be giving. I mean, he literally gives of himself at the drop of a hat. He's been the senior official at the New York AG's office, chief of consumer protection, prosecutor. He's done everything. He does it well. He drives himself to do everything in the best possible way.
I think about how he's bettered the lives of New Yorkers as superintendent of insurance in the wake of financial crisis, ensuring that the financial system remained safe and sound, not just in New York, but around the world. I think there are innumerable and unquantifiable number of individuals, much like me, whose lives have become richer because he's here in New York with us.
He just finds ways to, give back not only to the citizens of New York, but all the rest of us and the country as well.
Eric, you're a tremendous friend. I'm so lucky to know you, to have you as a friend and mentor, to get to work with you again now in this role. So thank you for everything that you've done.
Congratulations, Eric, on being a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
Eric, come up. We want to hear from you.
Wow, I'm a little overwhelmed, I'm going to admit, and it's kind of hard to imagine that I'm up here and I'm one of Citizens Union's Gotham's Great, and those words and your introduction have just blown me away. I'm incredibly privileged and honored. Mary Jo, I've known you, you've been a mentor and a friend for 30 years. I think you're always there for me. You're my hero in the area of public service and practice. And I've always aspired to be anything like you. So thank you very, very much for the kind words. And the superintendent, Adrienne Harris, didn't say, but I'll say, I've known her for 15 years. She was a bright light at the beginning on the campaign at NYU when she was in-house, and I think that she has already had a pretty stellar career. She'll have a lot more, but New York State is very, very fortunate to have someone of that caliber in its regulatory structure. So I'm very, very proud of everything that she's done. And if I could have been any part of it, it's a real honor. Randy, that was so amazing. And I know, you know, you had a big role in this. You do an incredible job as the chair. When you called me, we have cases together, and you saw how he can be, and I thought he was going to take me to the woodshed on one of our matters on the phone, and so I put my body armor on, and instead he asked me to do this, and I was completely stunned. And thank you very, very much. You do a fantastic job. And I realized, look, I'm here because of a lot of special relationships, friendships, colleagues, organizations that I've had the privilege to be with. I really, they want us to keep our comments brief, and I really could not name them all. We'd be here for a long time, but I have to at least acknowledge Debevoise and Plimpton. I started there in 2010. It's the longest job I've ever had because I can't, my mother was concerned that I couldn't keep a job, honestly. And it's the longest job I've had in a checkered resume. And they are the best people, the best lawyers, the finest colleagues. And I really just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for letting me be part of such a special place. And there is one partner in particular that I will call out, and without this partner, I would absolutely not be up here today. And it's my life partner and my wife, Priscilla Almodovar. When you swing in and out of public practice and the private side and serve the government, you have to have a great partner, and you have been so encouraging and so supportive. We have made some wonderful choices, and I love and I admire you, and thank you very much. I also want to thank the chairs and all the donors who supported this event, and my fellow honorees who really, I am humbled to be part of this with you and sharing the stage with very special people who I think collectively, as others have said, share Citizen Union's core values, whether they're in private practice or public service, not-for-profit, academia. It's just an incredible group, and I'm just very, very humbled to be here with them. And finally, I want to thank Betsy and the board and the amazing staff at Citizens Union. Frankly, I feel like we should really be honoring you. You do such an incredible job, and you should be acknowledged for all you've done. And I saw, you know, in Randy, you saw the passion for the organization. I will tell you, not all of you may know this, but this is the organization that took down Tammany Hall 100 years ago. So they like talk the talk, and they really walk the walk. And then in the next 100 years, they started a string of some of the most innovative, most important legislation, government reform, all around accountability, transparency, and a better democracy. And obviously, as Randy said, where we are today with a bit of a tattered democracy and a full assault on elections, I think Citizens Union is even more relevant than ever before. And as a New Yorker, I just want to thank you. I love this city. I love this state. I know all of you here do. And it's all the more because of Citizens Union, your dedication, and what you've accomplished in 125 years. So thank you, and thank you all.
Hi, it's me again. Well, I get the great privilege of introducing our next honoree. I just have to divert a minute to say that one of the great jobs of the many that I've had, what did you say, Eric? You couldn't keep a job? Well, look at my resume. One of the great jobs in the city of New York, and the greatest job I think I ever had, was being Parks Commissioner. It just is a joyful place to be. People love parks. You get to run around in green trucks, and you get to do all kinds of things that you could never imagine. Well, the next person who's getting an award is a man named Ed Schuyler. Now, many of you may know that there was a certain Parks Commissioner, it was not I, who gave names to various people. How many people in this room got named from the, yeah, there's one. Look at this, look at this. Oh, my Lord. Okay, Skylark, get up here.
Introducing Ed Schuyler, a Citizens Union Gotham Great.
Hello, everyone. Let me thank Betsy Gottbaum and the Citizens Union for their important work, and a big congrats to this year's Gotham Greats, especially my good friend Ed Schuyler. I know this will be hard for Ed tonight, because for years he was used to coming up to me after a press conference and telling me what I said wrong. But since I'm only going to say nice things about him now, he's out of luck. Throughout his time in City Hall, Ed personified good government. He was tireless, fearless, honest, brutally honest, I can assure you of that. And most of all, he held himself and everyone around him to the highest ethical standards. He made an enormous difference, often doing the most unglamorous work, whether it was implementing a 5-borough solid waste management plan, or founding Mulchfest, his pride and joy, or behind the scenes helping to spearhead our coalition of mayors against illegal guns and our long-term sustainability plan. And now as a global leader on sustainability, he and City are helping to make the world a better place. Of course, we know what Ed really wants to be doing tonight, and that's watching his beloved Mets in the playoffs. Sorry, Ed. Maybe next October. And seriously, thanks for your wise counsel, your incredible work ethic, and your friendship. Congratulations and all the best, Ed.
So it is true that my first job was in the New York City Parks Department, but what Betsy didn't tell you is it was a really, really important job. At the young age of 22, I was in charge of many operational aspects of the Parks Department, including managing Boomer, Henry's dog. A matter of fact, at one point when we were about to take a trip to Staten Island, and we were all packed into one of those green trucks that Betsy talked about, we all got in, and 6 of us in this thing, and a photographer and this and that. And Henry said, Skylark, where's Boomer? And I said, well, Commissioner, we've got like 6 of us here, and it's really like a 2-seater car, and it's a long drive to Staten Island, and I just didn't think we really had room for Boomer. And he didn't even turn to look at me, but he said, when Mayor Giuliani makes you Parks Commissioner, you can make decisions like that. Now, unlike Betsy, I never made it to Parks Commissioner. But we had a good run. I want to thank all my friends in the Bloomberg administration that are here. And I also want to thank the gift that New York City gave me in allowing to contribute, because there is something about working for the city and trying to make it a better place that if you haven't done it, you might not necessarily understand what I mean by it. As a matter of fact, it was so strangely challenging for me to leave that my wife and I, at that point, my girlfriend, but now very happy mother of 3 wonderful children, we had dinner at Blue Smoke, and we were sitting there, and it was, I think, probably the night of my last day of government, and a garbage truck rolled by, and I was looking at it like wistfully, and she was like, "Are you okay?" But she stuck with me through that very hard transition and everything that has come after. So thank you so much for your love and support. But very privileged to be honored by Citizens Union, because to me it is more than democracy that Citizens Union stands for. Citizens Union is about integrity of institutions, political integrity of those serving. And unfortunately, it is very much in short supply at this moment. As a matter of fact, too many elected officials really stand on the thin reeds that are blown by the political winds. And what we need is to get back to the heyday of government where there were people that served, that we respected and we admired, and we wanted to be like them. The way when I was growing up, I wanted to be like Betsy and like Randy and Mary Jo White and so many of the others. So hopefully we can get back to that. Until then, I know I will sleep better at night, knowing that Citizens Union and Betsy and Eric and Elizabeth and Richard are all fighting for the same important values that we all hold dear and appreciate. So thank you very much for this honor, and have a great evening.
Wow. I'm almost speechless, but not quite. First, what an incredible group of honorees. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. This is the part of the program where I thank you all for being here and all you have done for Citizens Union tonight. And if you are as inspired as I am by these speeches and these honorees and this incredible organization, I hope you will consider digging even deeper, because the work we have ahead, what we need to do to support the city and Mayor Adams, what we need to do to support the state and Governor Hochul, to make them better, to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and what we need to do on the national level, because Citizens Union now will be a clarion call for democracy wherever there is a need for that clarion call. Support us, help us to continue and expand that mission. And from the bottom of our hearts, I want to just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Go forth, talk amongst yourselves. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you.